I looked down and found myself clutching a brown woolen blanket I was wearing around my shoulders, squaw fashion. Atticus, I don't know, sir. I turned to Jim for an answer, but Jim was even more bewildered than I. He said he didn't know how it got there. We did exactly as Atticus had told us. We stood down by the Radley gate away from everybody. We didn't move an inch. Jim stopped. Mr. Nathan was at the fire, he babbled. I saw him. He was tugging that mattress. Atticus, I swear. That's all right, son. Atticus grinned slowly. Looks like all the make-home was out tonight, in one way or another. Jim, there's some wrapping paper in that pantry, I think. Go get it and we'll... Atticus, no, sir. Jim seemed to have lost his mind. He began pouring out our secrets right and left in total disregard for my safety and not for his own, omitting nothing, not whole pants and all. Mr. Nathan put cement in that tree, Atticus, and he did it to stop us finding things. He's crazy, I reckon, like they say, but Atticus, I swear to God, he ain't never harmed us. He ain't never hurt us. He could have cut my throat from ear to ear that night, but he tried to mend my pants instead. He ain't ever hurt us, Atticus. Atticus said, Whoa, son, so gently that I was greatly heartened. It was obvious that he had not followed a word Jem said, for all Atticus said was, You're right. We'd better keep this and the blanket to ourselves. Some day, maybe, Scout can thank him for covering her up. Thank who? I asked. Bill Radley. You were so busy looking at the fire you didn't know it, but he put the blanket around you. My stomach turned to water, and I nearly threw up when Jem held out the blanket and crept toward me. He sneaked out of the house, turned around, sneaked up, and went like this. Atticus said dryly, Do not let this inspire you to further glory, Jeremy. Jem scowled. I ain't gonna do anything to him. But I watched the spark of fresh adventure leave his eyes. Just think, Scout, he said. If you just turn around, you'd have seen him. Calpurnia woke us at noon. Atticus had said we need not to go to school that day. We'd learn nothing after no sleep. Calpurnia said for us to try to clean up the front yard. Miss Maudie's sun hat was suspended in a thin layer of ice, like a flying amber, and we had to dig under the dirt for her hedge clippers. We found her in the backyard, gazing at her frozen charred azaleas. We're bringing back your things, Miss Maudie, said Jem. We're awfully sorry. Miss Maudie looked around, and the shadow of her old grin crossed her face. Always wanted a smaller house, Jem Finch. Gives me more yard. Just think, I'll have more room for my azaleas now. Ain't you grieving, Miss Maudie? I asked, surprised. Atticus said her house was nearly all she had. Grieving, child? Why, I hated that old cow barn. Thought of setting fire to it hundreds of times myself, except they'd lock me up. But don't you worry about me, Jean Louise Finch. There are ways of doing things you don't know about. Why, I'll build me a little house to take me a couple of roomers, and, gracious, I'll have the finest yard in Alabama. Those billy grouse will look plenty puny when I get started. Jem and I looked at each other. How'd it catch, Miss Maudie? He asked. I don't know, Jem. Probably the flue in the kitchen. I kept a fire in there last night for my potted plants. Here, you had some unexpected company last night, Miss Jean Louise. How'd you know? Atticus told me on his way to town this morning. Tell you the truth, I'd like to have been with you, and I've had sense enough to turn around, too. Miss Maudie puzzled me. With most of her possessions gone and her beloved yard of shambles, she still took a lively and cordial interest in Jem's and my affairs. She must have seen my perplexity. She said, Only thing I was worried about last night was all the danger and commotion it caused. This whole neighborhood could have gone up. Mr. Averill be in bed for a week. He's right stove up. He's too old to do things like that, and I told him so. Soon as I can get my hands clean when Stephanie Crawford's not looking, I'll make him a lane cake. That Stephanie's been after my recipe for 30 years, and if she thinks I'll give it to her just 'cause I'm staying with her, she's got another thing coming. I reflected that if Miss Maudie broke down and gave it to her, Miss Maudie couldn't follow it anyway. Miss Maudie had once let me see it. Among other things, the recipe called for 1 large cup of sugar. It was still day. The air was so cold and clear. We heard the courthouse clock clank, rattle, and string before it struck the hour. Miss Maudie's nose was a color I had never seen before, and I inquired about it. "I've been out here since 6 o'clock," she said. "Should be frozen by now." She held up her hands. A network of tiny lines crossed her palms, down with dirt and dry blood. "You've ruined them," said Jem. "Why don't you get a colored man?" There was no sacrifice in his voice when he added, "Or Scout and me will help you." Miss Maudie said, "Thank you, sir, but you've got a job of your own over there." She pointed to our yard. "You mean the morphodite?" I asked. "Shoot, we can rack him up in a jiffy." Miss Maudie stared down at me. Her lips moved silently. Suddenly, she put her hands to her head and whooped. When we left her, she was still chuckling. Jem said he didn't know what was the matter with her. That was just Miss Maudie.